dad was a farmer, and he came here to work to Camas to work in the paper mill because that's when Mr. Piddock was building the mill, and it was really growing. And of course, everybody knew it was after the Depression.
Yeah.
And so he needed work, and so he packed up everything and I have three brothers, two brothers and one sister, but there were three of us at that time, and my dad had an old Star car, and he loaded us all in the car and had a big sale auction actually at the farm in Durant, and moved here with a suitcase on the back and a couple of suitcases tied to the side.
To the side.
Yeah, and then we moved here and we lived in Oak Park, which is part of Camas, a little suburb.
Yep.
And then we moved to down by the railroad track.
Yep.
And then we rented one more time until we bought a place out on Third Avenue and lived there.
What?
Yeah, until I was married when I was 25. I went to Central School, the grade school, and which is now the nursing home in Camas. And then I went to junior high, and then I went to the Camas High School, the only high school we had at that time. Graduated from Camas High School, 1944.
You got some more jobs?
Well, the first jobs I had were babysitter job, and then I washed windows, and then let's see, then I got a job down at the drugstore at 2:30. I'd run down the hill to the drugstore and work there until about 5:30, and then I'd walk up to the theater. Then I worked at the theater at the same time, and walked up to the theater, and then you'd go down and put on your uniform, as we wore uniforms at that time, and make the popcorn, which the popcorn was the only thing we had. We didn't have ice cream or candy and all this. So we had to make popcorn, and I remember that I had real long blonde hair, and we used peanut butter oil for making the popcorn. And I walked home at night about a mile out of town, and my hair would always smell like popcorn oil. So anyway, that's where I worked, and then I took care of a lady that had cancer and another lady that had cancer.
And then you retired?
No, then I worked in the mill too.
Yep.
I also worked in the mill, in the bag factory. I loved it, really loved it, yes. It was, I think I have always liked working with my hands. And, when you'd have little candy bags about so big, and they'd go, and then you had to tie those up. We didn't have the automatic ties. We had a twine factory right next to the mill. And then the big bags that you had for potatoes, and you had 52 kinds of bags. And so every time one of them come out, then they'd count so many, and then they'd kind of space it, and then you knew when to tie it. So I worked in the mill. And then when I was working in the mill, I graduated from high school, and it was wartime.
Yep.
So the women were taking all the jobs, the men's jobs. And so I went to California to drive convoy. So I drove convoy, which is amphibians and jeeps and trucks and whatever they had. And so that was quite an interesting job. I worked in California for a year and enjoyed that a lot. So then I came back home in a year. Yeah, I'm doing my life history here. So I came back home in a year, and then I went to beauty school in Portland and went there 18 months so I could get my Washington, Oregon license. And then I worked in a beauty shop. Then I married, and my husband and I built our home in Camas, and we were building our home, and we had 3 sons. I didn't marry until I came back from during the war.
Yep.
And I married a fellow in Vancouver.
And then how long were you guys married?
25 years, and he passed away at 49 with a brain tumor. And then I married again in a few years and to a friend that was a year ahead of me in high school. And, we were friends, and he lost his wife to cancer. And so we kind of got together and didn't have any, he had 3 children already also. And we didn't have any children between us.
So did you marry those people in Camas, like in a chapel in Camas, or?
Yes. I was married at the Old Methodist Church, and I wish I had brought some pictures for you to see. I meant to do that. The Old Methodist Church set where the Camas City Hall is now.
Oh, really?
Yes, right on that block.
Yep. How long was it there before it got destroyed?
Oh, let's see. Oh, I can't tell you when it was built, but I was married there, and my children were baptized in that church. And it was a great little white Methodist church. It was a wood, and the manse was on the corner of 3rd Avenue. And I hadn't thought of all this stuff. Kind of reflects. Okay, so anyway, it was a little Methodist church there, and then they tore it down, and they hauled a lot of it up in the hill, but then they built the big Methodist church, which is brick up there. Mm-hmm. My oldest son was a contractor, and he lives in Washington. My middle son is a doctor in Montana, Bozeman, Montana.
Oh.
And he is retired now. He worked an extra year in Montana, but he's decided he's going to retire, so he's old enough to retire. And then my youngest son he lives in Bend, and he builds car parts.
Oh,
Special car parts. I can't say the word, but anyway, he's still in business. His youngest son works for him.
Mm-hmm. So.
I gotta think on that one. I have a lot of fun memories. You want to know the worst, most embarrassing thing I did?
Sure.
My mother used to go to the Methodist. We went to the Methodist church, of course, and my mother used to go to the Methodist church at rummage sale, and she would buy nice clothes, like a coat or skirt or something, and she would make clothes over for my sister and I. And she was quite a seamstress. And so when we lived on 3rd Avenue, we'd catch the bus down at the road. We were probably about 50 feet off, 100 feet off the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so the bus would go out to Shepherd Road, turn around, and come back. So when we saw the bus go out, we would always, say, okay, there's the bus, you gotta run. So I was running to the bus stop, and it was after a rainy day, and the bus pulled up and stopped. Mr. Rowland was our bus driver, Red Rowland. And anyway, I jumped the mud puddle, but didn't quite jump it. I sat flat in the mud puddle with my beautiful yellow coat my mother had made me, and sit flat in the mud puddle. And of course, he had already opened the door, and I could see all the kids laughing in the bus, embarrassed as heck because I was in high school. And Red Rowan was having a hard time keeping a straight face. He was trying to be respectful, but I knew that he just roared when he pulled away. So I stood up, and of course the mud was and the water was dripping off of my coat down on my ankles and saddle shoes, and I walked back to the house and cleaned up and had to walk to school. That's the most embarrassing thing that I can think of. But I had so many fun things. I love school.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a great student, but I really loved school. I loved all my friends and had a lot of fun in school. I was in band and just a lot of fun times. I look forward to going to school. I really did. I really was excited to graduate, but it was time to go on with my life,
Yeah. What instrument did you play in band?
I was majorette.
Oh.
So Mr. Moffat came when I was going on to 7th grade. He came that summer, and we really didn't have a band. We had red and black capes and whatnot, and didn't really have a band. But he got the townspeople asked him to get a band together, and so he did. And some of the kids, you rounded up. I don't know how he did it, but everybody knew everybody in school and in the town too. And so he got a marching band together. And they wore those black capes, and he rounded up. He asked me if I'd be major, and I was playing clarinet in the 6th grade. And he just asked me. I don't know why he asked me in particular, but that was probably my new thing. When I went to California, I worked with some girls that were a lot older than me. Some of them had husbands overseas and different things, and most of them were in the service. And so I learned a lot from them and grew up in a hurry. It was good. It was a good education for me, but I loved it. I loved every minute of it.